When I was a child, I always enjoyed lighting up dominoes very carefully, starting with the first one, pushing it, and watching them all tumble down. Well, today we're going to talk about upper cross syndrome again, and we're going to talk about the domino effect. Hi, I'm Janet. I'm a physical therapist here at Physical Therapy and Balance Center. Welcome to another Teach Me Tuesday. Last Tuesday we started talking about something called upper cross syndrome, and today we're going to continue with that. So you may be wondering, what does the domino effect have to do with upper cross syndrome? Well, I actually brought a cheat sheet today because I want to make sure I don't forget any of this important information to tell you. So when you're sitting and standing regularly in positions that are rounded like this, you begin to get a forward head, and it leads to rounded shoulders. It leads to the upper back being curved like this. You've seen people who have what we call a very stooped posture. Then you begin to have back problems, you'll begin to have knee problems, begin to have foot problems, shoulder problems, and pain. So I want you to start with the stretching exercises. There's a reason that last week when we first started talking about upper cross syndrome, I started with a stretch. We talked about stretching your pectoralis muscles. And the reason I started with stretching is because with upper cross syndrome, it's important to start with the stretching exercises. Now you will be adding in some strengthening exercises, but let's first begin to get these muscles that are tight looser. All right, I'm going to grab a chair for our first exercise. Now that you have your chair, I want you to get into some good alignment in the chair. If I just sit in this chair the way the chair encourages me to sit, I end up in a very rounded posture. But I want my back to be straight and tall, so I'm going to move towards the edge. We're going to be stretching the upper trap. Now to do this, you're going to put one hand onto the chair and hold on to the underneath part, and then you are going to very gently, anytime you stretch, especially the neck, you are always going to stretch very gently. It's a vulnerable part of the body. You're going to begin to tip your head to the side, and then you're going to put your other hand on, but you're only going to put the weight of your hands. You're not actually going to pull down. I want you to hold this when you're first starting for about 30 seconds. Now here's a trick. Sometimes when we do this exercise, we inadvertently will turn our head this way or this way. So if you find something to look at across the room, kind of about the height of your nose, and we'll keep looking at that, that'll make you go over straighter, have a nice straight tip. And that is how you do the upper cross stretch. So start with 30 seconds, but eventually work up to a minute. All right, the next exercise we're going to do is to stretch a muscle called levator scapula. It's one of your muscles around your shoulder blade. So to do that, you're going to take your arm and you're going to put it behind your glutes. Now you're going to tip your head like you did before, and again, you can look at something across the room, tip it, and then you're going to look down. This is called the front pocket exercise, where your front pocket would be. I actually have a front pocket, so I can look at it. And again, always gentle. Put your hand on there, but only the weight of your hand. Hold it for about 30 seconds. And of course, you're going to do both sides with all of these exercises. Another exercise that I like to do, we're going to need to find a wall. So let's go find a wall. All right, now that you're up against a wall, I want you to do an exercise that will stretch a muscle called subscapularis. You're going to put your elbow on the wall and put your hand behind your neck. Let me turn around and show you. About right here. Really don't want it to be on your head if you can get it up here. And again, don't force it. We don't ever force the body. But if you can get in this position comfortably, then you're going to begin to just very, very gently lean into the wall, and you should feel a nice stretch along the side. It feels so good. All right, next week we will finish talking about upper cross syndrome. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday on Teach Me Tuesday. And please feel free to like and share.